family. It's your girl, Attorney Brunel Donald Che, and welcome to the Good News of America. There are good things happening in America. I know whenever you turn on the TV, it's like this one, that one, this one, that one. No, there are good things happening in America, and that is why I started the Good News of America. Let's dive in. This first one I shared on my social media pages, but it's still a goodie, so I want to make sure that I talk about it again. It happened around Mother's Day of this year. Officer Anthony Giorgio was off duty at a Johnson Beach with his family when he heard yelling. He heard screams, panic screams, not happy screams, screams of panic. He turned around and saw four kids caught in a rip current. Now, mind you, they're 150 feet away. He enters the water several times, along with a Coast Guard boatswain mate second class, Reese Baxter, and they save all four of them. Now, mind you, they're swimming back and forth 150 feet each time. That's no small feat. And then, mind you, you're swimming not by yourself. You're swimming, saving lives. And so, I definitely want to thank our brother Anthony Giorgio for his great sacrifice and for saving the lives of those young people, as well as Mr. Baxter. Another good story going on in America. It revolves around Peter and Lisa Marshall. They have been married for 12 years, okay? And at like 56 years old, Peter begins an early onset of Alzheimer's, okay? And his wife, Lisa's like, I'm not letting my man go. I'm going to stand by my man. And she stood by her man. Even though he forgets that they're married, forgets that she's his wife, all he knows is that he has a great bond and a great connection with her. And he loves her so much. And so he asked her to marry him, proposed to her. And she said yes. That was just so absolutely beautiful to me. And she said, I don't need a label. I don't need a name because our hearts are connected. Lisa, God bless you. God bless Peter. We're praying for the Lord to allow some kind of treatment or service that he can be in that will give him back his memory. In Jesus' name. Let's hop to the next story. This is a goodie. 4 Ohio police officers rescue a missing 4-year-old found unresponsive floating in the Painesville police park in Painesville. He was found floating in the water. They pulled him out of there. They resuscitated him, and he had been reported missing by his family. These officers jumped into action. They searched that area. They found him and they resuscitated him. And so we want to thank them for their heroic behavior, the way they jumped in, they searched for him, they didn't give up. That boy was in like some kind of riverbank, and his body was covered by debris, but they spotted the air bubbles that were coming up out of the water. We thank God they got there in time. Now, our next story is about an Eagle Scout who received a heroism award for pulling a woman out of a burning car. First day at a job at Enterprise Door LLC in Michigan 2 years ago. This was a harrowing car crash that made him stop in his tracks. Equipped with lessons that had been instilled in him from the Boy Scouts of America, Van Allsburg is the young man's name. An Eagle Scout rushed to the scene and pulled the woman out of her car. Now, within minutes of him pulling her out of that car, it burst into flames. And so we definitely want to support Van Allsburg. Mr. Van Allsburg, God bless you. God bless your family. What a hero. The angels and the Lord were with you that day for sure. The next story that's coming up is a Kentucky-based prophet born as a result of the corona pandemic is hand delivering groceries and other essential items to community members who otherwise can't get to a food pantry. Maria Accardi and Constance Merritt created Bringing Justice Home last year after recognizing that food pantries were losing both supplies and needed volunteers. There have been so many out here during this pandemic who have gone hungry, or they're struggling, or they're worried they can't pay their bills, they can't pay their food. There's just been so much stress and so much strife, and it's always amazing and wonderful when we as Americans come together and we give a helping hand. So we definitely want to thank Constance, and we definitely want to thank Maria for their great contribution during this pandemic. The next story we're going to go to. A Minnesota National Guard member found support from his fellow soldiers when he shaved his head in solidarity with his sister. Staff Sergeant Brandon Stafford's sister found out late in 2020, her name is Melissa, that she had a malignant brain tumor, which required major surgery. And so at some point, her hair began to fall out. And her brother, in solidarity with her, shaved his head. And then when he went, to his barracks and to the base where he is, he told people about why he had shaved his head and what was going on with his sister. And about 15 of those soldiers shaved their heads as well, in solidarity with Staff Sergeant Brandon and his sister Melissa. That's a feel-good story right there, because cancer is not a joke. It's snatching lives every single day, and to know that people have compassion and love and concern for one another, that's a great thing. And so we just want to thank them for being in solidarity with Brandon. Now, the next story I have here, oh honey, I dig. I have to look and search and find for these stories, because you have to look under all the bad news to try to find the good news. So I want you guys to know, painstakingly finding these stories, and I love it. I love it. I almost gave it up, though. I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I'm like, barely anybody's coming on this YouTube. Nobody wants to hear any good news, clearly, because people aren't clicking on. They're not doing this, that, and the other. And I realized that I'm doing this for the Lord. I'm doing it for his people. I'm doing it to be obedient to his voice. It doesn't matter whether I don't understand it. I have to do the work. And so, next story, Evelyn Lutz, known to most as Evie, had not lived a life of luxury. In fact, those who knew her said she lived a very normal life. Well, in November, Ms. Lutz died of complications with COVID at 86 years old. But guess what? She outlined how she wanted her money to be spent. $641,000 she sent and donated. Dr. Evelyn M. Lutz donated to Nursing Research Endowment of the University of Rochester to support the school's effort in data analysis, pilot funding, research project coordination activities, and recruitment. And so we are so grateful for Miss Evie Lutz. May she rest in peace, and may her work do all the dynamic things that she envisioned when she left that money, and the other projects that she funded as well. Thank you, Evie. May you rest in peace. The next story we're going to get into, I found a few of them. I'm telling you, I know you guys are like, the next story? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. A charity dedicated to honoring military and first responders who make the supreme sacrifice for America will pay off the mortgage on the home of a fallen New York Police Department officer. The family of New York Police Department officer Anastasios Sakos will never have to pay the mortgage on their East Northport home ever again, according to the Tunnel to Towers CEO, Frank Siller. Mr. Sakos was a 14-year veteran of the police department and was struck and killed on April 27th while assisting officers at the scene of an earlier crash. He was 43 years old, and he was known to be a very humble public servant. And he left behind his beautiful wife, Irene, and their 2 children, 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. And so the charity, the Tunnel to Towers Fallen First Responder Home Program, relieves some of the families of financial responsibilities placed on families of fallen law enforcement officers by paying off their mortgages. That is the end of the good news. of America today. I am so grateful that you joined me to hear about the good news. I have been telling people, listen, if you hear any good news, let me research it, let me check it out, and I will put it on my channel because people want to hear good news. People are thirsty to hear good things are happening in our great country. And there are some people on this list, most of them are people that should be recognized. Everyday Americans should be recognized for their efforts that they're doing when nobody's looking. And so I just want to thank you all for joining me for the good news of America. God bless you. God bless your family. And God bless America. Bye for now.